Right, let's see if this works. Sometimes it's just a reboot. I think I can see the audio meters moving. So if you are watching this on the replay, we are talking about wine in the movies. We are post-Oscar, so we're going to be talking about our favorite past movies that have featured wine in a leading role, or even some of this year's nominees. I'm going to take off my glasses now that I've fixed the tech issues, I hope. Let me go over to you and see if you can hear me. All right, so I think the sound is still working. I am hoping. And I am going to mute myself here. Let me go back and see if I can see us on the live. Hopefully, it is coming in live, but I am not sure. So let's see. I'm going to refresh my browser and see if the new live has started. You gotta love technology. It really keeps you humble. Really humble. Okay, yes, Elaine says. Yay, Lori Sweet says. Can hear now, says Gus. Excellent. Okay, guys. So, to recap, what we're talking about tonight is wine in the movies. We are post-Oscar, and so I would like to know who your nominees are for Best Motion Picture featuring wine in a leading role. It doesn't have to be from this year's movies. In fact, I think it's kind of slim pickings. I mean, there we go. I got to mute myself. And, but go back in time. What are your favorite wine movies? Of course, there's Sideways that skyrocketed Pinot Noir to fame. But I'm talking even more mainstream movies that are not about wine, but certainly had a big wine moment in them. I'm thinking of French Kiss with Meg Ryan and Kevin Kline, was it? Where he's a French vintner and she's afraid to fly. They meet on the airplane. And then he gets her smelling all the essences like a Vendée kit. I just love that moment. So if you guys are watching this on the replay, please comment in the comments because I'll jump back in there this week. What are your favorite movie moments? And for those of you who are here live, tell me where you're logging in from and where you're logging in from. Yeah, the city, state, province, and what is in your glass. All right, the gang has found us quickly. So Gus, hello. Lori Sweet, Elaine Bruce, Tom Nolan, good. Seems to be working on the new live feed. Yes, Dorrit is here. Hello, hello. Paul and Patty are here, and David is here. Peter Nielsen. And Maya Bailey. You're coming in from wine country, are you, Maya? Remind me. I think you work at a winery, but just remind me, Maya. Tom Nolan, my best picture featuring wine was Sideways. Yeah, that's such a classic. I love that movie. I loved Paul Giamatti. I just love him as an actor. But him in that movie, oh my goodness, so good. And then there was Bottle Shock. And was there Judgment of Paris? Was that a movie or was one movie based on that? And I've heard that Billionaire's Vinegar, the book about the scandal of fake wines, especially Jefferson's wine, is coming out. And I think it's either directed or starring Brad Pitt. I'm not sure. I probably have that all mixed up. It's not like I'm a Hollywood insider. But what else have you loved in the past? Alejandra is here. I love your name, Alejandra. Lori, Under the Tuscan Sun. I know. Frances Mays wrote the book, and then Diane Lane starred in the movie where she escapes. It's kind of like A Year of Provence, Peter Mail's book, except it's a female lead, and she escapes from the big city and, renovates this Tuscan villa and just, glories in the lifestyle, the slow pace, the natural olive oil, and of course, the wine. The wine. Love that movie too, Lori. Tom, Under the Tuscan Sun was also a good one about wine, yes. But I prefer Judgment in Paris. Okay. Who starred in Judgment of Paris? Was that Alan Rickman? Or was that Bottle Shock? I'm getting them all mixed up. And I have yet to catch up with the documentaries, which are really good. I watched Somm, S-O-M-M, about sommeliers going for the Master Sommelier exam. I watched Psalm 1. I have yet, I think, to watch Psalm 2. Definitely I haven't seen Psalm 3. Has anybody seen Psalm 3 yet? And then the other documentary I really loved was Mondo Vino. That was so much fun. I think, the same guy who did Sideways did Mondo Vino. And he used to be married to Sandra Oh, the movie star. From Ottawa. Yay, Ottawa. All right, I'm going to take a glass. I'm going to take a sip from my glass. What are you all drinking tonight, by the way? What I've got is one of the wines that my course students and I will be tasting about half an hour from now in a structured tasting. And it's Aratus Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. I love it. It's so refreshing. All right. Bottle shock, yes, says Paul. Okay, Maya, no, Wine Country is the movie I liked. Oh, okay, that's not where you're logging in from. You liked Wine Country. And that was with the comedians, wasn't it? Who are they? You've got to remind me. Tina Fey, yes. I wish I was in Wine Country here from Toronto, Ontario. Got it, Maya. We all wish we were in Wine Country, especially right now with the weather. Tom says, Bottle Shock was the movie based on the Judgment of Paris. Okay, but was there another movie called Judgment of Paris? Was it called that? Are they two movies or one? Elaine Bruce, I love the Psalm series, yes. Peter says he's watched all the Psalm documentaries, 1, 2, and 3. 4 is coming in the summer. I have got to catch up, Peter. Welcome, Nicholas. Hello. What's in your glass? We're talking about movies, Nicholas. Join us at the table here. What are your favorite movies that featured wine? Let me go back again, dig into the movie archives. I love Casablanca. When the Germans are coming, Humphrey Bogart says to, is it Katharine Hepburn? Ingrid Bergman. He says, I'll water my garden with this champagne before I'll give it to the Germans. And wine is so pivotal, like the camera scans down to their hands, and then the two champagne glasses are standing up, and then hers falls down, kind of symbolizing the end of their relationship. And yes, I did take one movie analysis course in university, so I am an expert. Peter says Psalm 3 is excellent. Janet says, sorry I'm late, just got to the door. Well, join the party, Janet. We're just talking about something fun here, our favorite movie moments for wine. Have you got one? Peter says, Wine Country with SNI alum. Yes, Tina Fey. There was somebody else on there. The blonde woman who's very funny. Not Kristen. Who was it? Someone who come up with the answer. And Dwayne is here. Dwayne Foster. Tom, yes. Alan Rickman was the star in Bottle Shock, based on the Judgment of Paris. Mondo Vino was a really nice movie, but it was focused on the wine consultant Michel Rolland. Yes. Mondo Vino is an eye-opener if you want to know what goes on in the world of wine with wine consultants who really do influence the style of wines we drink. Michel Rolland is sort of connected to the famous wine critic Robert Parker, in that he advocated for a very rich, fruit-forward, full-bodied style, even among regions where that wasn't traditional, like Bordeaux and elsewhere. Gus says, Mondo Vino was excellent insight into winemaking, yes, around the world, especially when they skewered the flying winemaker. Frenchman's name escapes me. Yeah, Michel Rolland, Gus. Gus is joining us here from Texas, where he writes about wine in a number of newspapers. Peter, Aratus, you've got Aratus as well, the Sauvignon Blanc. Very floral for a young Sauvignon Blanc, delicious. I agree, Peter, and I cannot wait to sort of taste and analyze the fun kind of analysis with you in our private Facebook group session after this for course students. All right. Yep. Right, Gus. So did anybody have any wine moments from this year's nominees or winners of the Oscars? I'm thinking Ford versus Ferrari. That was mostly beer, unless you consider Ferrari the winery, but this is Ferrari the car. And apparently They're two different brands. They are not the same company, although I visited the Ferrari winery before I started writing about wine up in northern Italy, and they had a red Ferrari outside, so very confusing. No. And then what was Parasite? Of course, that would be tough food matches with would be Southern Korean food. But a good Riesling or a Sauvignon Blanc would do it, wouldn't it? I haven't watched that yet. I hear it's amazing. What else was nominated? Marriage Story. That would require, I think, an Amarone, strong with a bitter finish. What else did we have? Judy. So you need a prima donna wine, probably a champagne for Judy. And Richard Joseph is with us. Lori Sweet says, I needed wine to get past some of those outfits. Yeah, don't we always tune in to see what they're wearing? The outrageous, and then some are pretty suave. Let me call to mind some other movies for you. I don't know if you remember Disclosure with Demi Moore back in the 90s and Michael Douglas, and they're up in the penthouse, and she's got Palmyre. There's an interesting backstory. That's a Napa Valley Chardonnay cult wine. Today it's probably $200 a bottle, if not more. And back then, the producer, whoever was getting all the props together, called Jason Palmyre and said, we'd like to have your wine in this pivotal scene in the movie where she seduces him at the top of the penthouse. And he said, my wine is $25 a bottle. You can buy it. And then Palmyre got wind of the extreme publicity and media exposure benefits that Taittinger, the champagne, got from being in a James Bond movie. They estimated it to be about $120,000, and that's back in the early 90s. So he called the producer back again and said, yes, I'll send you a case. And so in the movie, Michael Douglas says to Demi Moore, Palmyre, my favorite. How did you know? And she says, I like all the boys under me to be happy. Anyway, the wine was very good. Let's see. Peter Nielsen says, Maya Rudolph. Oh, in wine country. Amy Posner, Tina Fey, Rachel, I don't have my glasses on, Drac, Anna, okay, and Ali from SNL. Gotcha. Who are all in that. I started watching that and found it funny, and then I couldn't stay with it till the end. I don't know. Maybe that was just me, or maybe I was already on my second or third glass of wine, just fell asleep. Tom, I am sipping a 10-year-old Graham's Tawny Port, a delicious port that has beautiful layers of flavor. Wow. Like creamy caramel and chocolate notes. Ooh, that would be so good for Valentine's Day, which is Friday. So guys, take a minute, if you will, and if you're enjoying this conversation, to let people know. Share it with your friends and family. Even if they can't catch us right now, they can catch the replay if you share this with them. And even better, tell them why you're enjoying this chat, as simple as, good tips for movie lovers and wine lovers, or whatever you like to say. And the other thing that you can do, if you haven't done so already, is if you press like on my page, then every time I go live, I'll pop up. Just my little tiny head. So you'll know when I'm going live. You don't have to remember it. So take a moment to do that too. And of course, gives me a little dopamine hit every time you click on like. All right. So thank you. Someone just did it. I am such a monkey. Okay. But yes, Valentine's Day is Friday. And in today's podcast, if you listen to the podcast, which is different from this is a video broadcast, but I also have a podcast, which is just audio. And you can listen to it on the website, or you can listen to it in any podcast app. It's like an on-demand radio show, if you will. I'm talking about aphrodisiac wines for Valentine's Day. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. But also you can find in there podcasts about wine and chocolate as well. So if you're looking for tips on how to pair wine and chocolate for Valentine's Day, look to the podcast. And can one of you please just put the link in the comments Anybody can find it at www.nataliemaclean.com/podcast. And you can see it there. Listen to it there. Tom says, I hear here is a Star Trek reference to wine in the new... Oh, I hear there's a Star Trek reference to the new Star Trek, Picard. A California winery is used as the setting for Picard's Burgundy winery. For those sci-fi fans. Yes, I watched one episode. So I didn't know it was based in California, but that makes sense. That's where all the film crews are. But yeah, he's retired, Jean-Luc Picard, to a winery. But of course, he gets dragged back into the action again. Our man on the stars and among the vines. So, let me tell you a few more of my movie gems. Has anyone ever watched, I'm going back here, Babette's Feast? And so food was mostly a big leading role player in that movie, but it was filmed kind of in, was it northern Norway or somewhere kind of cold and bleak and gray. And all the tones in the movie were very cold and bleak and gray until they got to the table, which was a festival of food and love and joy. And what really popped on the color in the movie was that egg yolk, yellowy orange of the Veuve Clicquot bottles of champagne. I just love that. The sort of sparks of color in this vast tundra of gray emotions and gray filmography. And here I am again being the expert, but I just loved how that contrast visually came about. Dorit is here. Dorit's joined us again. It's like you come in the door and circle around and come in the door again. You can pop in and out on these virtual talks. All right. So what other movies have you guys liked? I've heard from a few of you, but I would love any other wine movies. And of course, Dracula. Has anybody watched the latest Dracula? I think it's Netflix. There's only, I think, 3 episodes. But with all the Dracula wine movies, I should say, his famous line is always, I don't drink wine. He always pauses strategically on that. But you know that one of the original filmmakers of Dracula was Francis Ford Coppola, and he has a famous winery in Napa. And he bought the old Inglenook winery, one of the original wineries in Napa. And if you go to Napa, that's a must visit. The wines are good. They're not outstanding, but the winery tasting room is what you want to go see. So he's got the Godfather desk and Dracula's cape and all kinds of movie memorabilia, which is really, really cool. Janet, you love Babette's Feast. Yeah, wasn't that great? What a great movie. And of course, James Bond. Forget martinis. James Bond was always into the champers. And as I mentioned, one of the movies had Taittinger, but then really Bollinger, or Bolly as he called it, became his champagne of choice. And I think it was only in the more recent years that they got into paid product placement. So I'm sure it's some other champagne, could be even a sparkling wine, not from Champagne, France. But remember, these were the days before drinking and driving was an absolute no-no. But he has this sporty convertible. And she goes, James, are you thirsty? Or something like this, some dough-headed statement. And he presses the glove compartment and up comes 2 champagne glasses and a bottle of bubbly, and they drive off and so on. One of my favorite champagne moments in a movie was the Gigi, Leslie Caron, and she's becoming, it's really kind of like My Fair Lady. She's becoming a lady in Paris, and the best song in that movie, again, it's an old one, The Night They Invented Champagne. It is so, so fun. So great. And let me come back to your comments. Paul says, we went to both of Coppola's wineries in 2009. He had the Tucker cars from the movie Tucker. Yes, I heard that, Paul. And what's his other winery? So I don't know if they still call it Inglenook or it's the Francis Ford Coppola winery, but what's the second winery called? Is that Inglenook or something completely different, Paul? Tom, Sunstone in the Santa Ynez Valley was the California winery used for Star Trek. Right. Lori says, we are hoping to do a California winery tour in April. We'll have to put that winery on our list. Yes, and Lori, reach out to me. You are one of my students. I can connect you with winery owners and winemakers if you'd like to have some special tours. And Sideways, I think, was filmed in Santa Barbara, Hitching Post, which makes fabulous Pinot Noir, by the way. Gus, Coppola's daughter, Sophia, yes, has a winery. So cool. Oh, yeah, David Smith, Silence of the Lambs, Claret. Claret for Clarice. Yes, the most barbaric part of that movie, I like to say, was when he paired a Chianti with fava beans. I mean, come on. Totally uncivilized, right? In the book, by the way, it was Amarone. And I think for the more popular, widespread movie audience, they made it Chianti. It's close, but not the same wine, as we know. Let me tell you a few more, and then we'll wrap it up. But again, please do take a moment to share this video, and more importantly, to tell your friends and family, hey, this is a fun whatever movie and wine chat that you might enjoy. And if you are watching this on the replay, please still comment. I want to know your favorites. Let me give you one more favorite with wine. Let's see. And of course, there's so many winemakers who are also movie stars, like Sam Neill. He owns 2 paddocks, which makes wonderful New Zealand Pinot Noir in the central Otago region. But let me grab one more movie instance, and because there's just so many. Oh, one more. My last tip will be, I think movies need a wine advisor on the set, don't you? How many times have you seen, I'm not going to even do it, I can't, actors and actresses holding a glass of wine by the bowl? It's not snobby, is it? It's going to warm up your wine, especially if it's white, and leave all these fingerprints on your glass. I mean, they have location advisors and, I don't know, other expert why not a wine advisor? Come on. Anyway, folks, this was so much fun. I really appreciate your being here with me tonight. And, okay, 24. Oh, that's a great link. Thank you, Peter. 24 best movies for enophiles. All right, perfect. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. And, Paul says, I think Napa Inglenook is Inglenook and Sonoma is Coppola. Okay. Gus, Sideways also was filmed at Fess Parker. Okay. Where the drinking... Okay, I have to put on my glasses. Where the drinking... Oh, the Spit Bucket. By the way, Fess Parker grew up in San Angelo, Texas, where I'm based, was a football star, and came back often enough to visit friends. And I heard, Gus, that Fess Parker was also an actor, and he played Daniel Boone, I think, in the movies. I thought he was. Anyway, guys, so much fun. I have to get ready now for my core students in our private tasting, our private Facebook group. So I look forward to our next chat. Also post in the comments if you've got topics that you'd like to tackle in our next chat again. So take care and enjoy the rest of your evening. My students, I shall see you soon. Bye for now.